October 19th. Good morning, Eastern Oregon. Welcome to this October 19th version of AM Live on EOA, on the EOA network. Glad you're here with us this morning.
Yep.
There's a flyer.
Morning.
How are you, man?
First Friday.
Yeah.
It's going to be another busy weekend for me, though. There's a lot going on again this weekend.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's just do sports. Tell us what's going on. Let me get to there. Here we go.
Sports Report brought to you by Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Man, it's a beautiful 18-hole link-style course out in Union. Dane and his team have done a great job. The pro shop looks great. They have a whole bunch of new stuff. Even if you aren't going to go out there to golf, go check out the pro shop. They have a great selection of miscellaneous golfing items, and it's awesome. Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Meet me at the peak. Sports. LHS has tonight is senior night, 5 o'clock, Community Stadium for the girls soccer team. So they're playing tonight at 5, and then a couple hours later at the gym up at the high school, the volleyball team's having their senior night. It's a big senior night day for LHS, and if you have the time, get up there and support these girls. Tomorrow night is homecoming versus Pendleton for the LHS football team. Kickoff at 7, and it'll be right here on the EOA Live network. We'll start the stream at about 6:30, and we have a special halftime guest for you guys, so pay attention to that. EOU volleyball's in Portland this weekend, taking on Multnomah and Warner Pack. Rankings come out next Wednesday, and Concordia, Nebraska, the number 1 team in the country, lost this week. So we only have one undefeated team in front of us. So when the rankings come out, EOU, we could see EOU move up to number 2 possibly. Right now we sit at 3. Indiana Wesleyan is still undefeated. So as long as it stays like that, it'll be us and Concordia battling for that number 2 spot. I don't want to be number 1. I want them to stay in number 2 or number 3. Get the best seeding possible. We got to win the conference first, which means there's 6 games left. The biggest one of those being against Corbin, and that's in a couple weeks right here at Quinn. That's going to be a crazy game. You've got to go to that. Even if you aren't a volleyball fan, the Corbin games up at Quinn are absolutely nuts, and it's a lot of fun. So we got to win the CCC. We got to win the CCC tournament, and then hopefully we go into the national tournament as the number 2 seed. That would be awesome. Last year we went in as the number 1 seed, and man, what a run this EOU volleyball team's put together. It's awesome. Both men's and women's soccer are at home this weekend too. Men play Bushnell at 1 o'clock on Friday, and then the women turn around and play at 3:30. So tomorrow for me, I'm at soccer, football. And then Saturday is senior day for both of those teams. And the women play at 6:30 at night, and the men play at 4, and they play Corbin, and it's senior day for the EOU men's and women's soccer teams, which is always fun. Get up there and support them too. EOU football has the week off. On Tuesday, I sat down with Coach Camp like I do every Tuesday. And this interview has already come out. You can watch it on the EOA Live network. But I asked them about the game against C of I in a couple of weeks and how we're going to contain Andy Peters, who is arguably, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Here's what he had to say.
We're looking at a bye week.
Let's go.
And so what are we doing to prepare for arguably the best offensive player in the conference?
He's pretty good. He's pretty special.
He's pretty good.
A career day against the Northern Lights, right? Well, we'll have some things for them. I know that, right? The big thing is to be able to the stage is not going to be too big for this Mountaineer team. Understand that, right? The stage is set for us to go and do what we do, right? And again, you're probably going to see some pressure, probably going to see some man-to-man. You're probably going to see some zone. You're probably going to see a lot of different packages rolling out there, right? just like we did with Carroll College, to be able to confuse, right? And that was the one thing, he was 6 of 16, couldn't get the ball off, couldn't get it downfield. No. But at the same time, you're dealing with, they want to run counter, they want to run power, they want to run, they want to run the ball just like us to set up some other things, right? So again, I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup, our defense versus their offense, right? To be able to, and it's going to come down to who blocks better and who tackles, right? And we got to make some plays, obviously, right? Get it flustered a little bit and be able to go in there and be able to do what we do, right? That's playing fast, free, and fearless, all right? And that's one of the main things.
Yeah. So in the locker room, like, I like to ask this question to end it. What are you telling the guys coming off of a 14-6 loss, homecoming, but a game where we played really well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens. Half the teams in the country lose. Half the teams every Saturday lose.
Yeah. So that was the Tuesday interview with Coach Camp. There won't be one this Tuesday. Obviously, there's no game. So the next one will come out the Tuesday after College of Idaho, who's, our rival, and it's the I-84 matchup. And not to mention, College of Idaho is ranked in the top 15 in the country, which means back-to-back games for us against ranked opponents. Once again, LHS football tomorrow night, kickoff at 7. The live stream will start at 6:30 right here on the EO Live Network. Morning Sports Reports brought to you by Buffalo Peak Golf Course. Meet me at the Peak.
Good stuff. All righty. Hey, just want to remind you guys about a couple of things. One is Chris Jennings was here with us on Tuesday. This weekend is the beginning of Eastern Oregon Film Festival. And in the post, in the comments, there's a code where you can click on there for an individual event. It's 100% off of one event. So then if you look at the schedule and you find a movie that you want to go to, and during the purchase part, if you put that code number in, it's good for up to 5 tickets. So I don't know if
you can only use one per person.
One per person.
Yeah. And it won't let you use any more than one per person.
So, but that is available. And then also we're going to be giving away, we have a couple of tickets to the Haunted Warehouse. And later today, we'll start a post. That is running this weekend and next weekend, and then also Halloween night. And on the weekends, it's Friday and Saturday. Really cool. Talked to Jerry again. She was with us a couple of weeks ago, and talked to her, and that's going real well for him out there. And the haunted house is actually in Embler. Anyhow, so we'll be giving away. There'll be a post, and it will give you the instructions in the post on how to be able to win those tickets. So yeah, that's what's going on.
And if that code doesn't work, that means that it's been used 5 times.
Right. Yeah.
So it's the first 5 people that use that code can get a free ticket to any of the different showings up there.
So, all right. Well, let's take a look outside. It's pretty. It's a fall day. And we get to the weather, the graphic here.
I don't consider 80 degrees very folly.
Yeah, but boy, the trees are just like right at the peak of being beautiful right now, and the sun
be nice all weekend too.
Yeah, that's good.
79, 77, 77 for the highs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night. That'll be
kind of looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, it's the homecoming part of the game, It'll be nice.
I still think that was a bad choice for a team. I don't know how it worked, but I would have made homecoming against Madras. Yeah.
Well, there certainly is going to be a challenge. I mean, Tanya and I have been, and you were with us this last time, we've been watching Pendleton play the last several games, and
I've watched all their games.
They're pretty formidable right now. Yeah.
I don't think Pendleton will win a state championship. I think there's a couple teams that are better than them, but I do think they'll probably make the quarterfinals. They'll probably make the semifinals. Actually, they'll be one of the top 4 teams left.
Yeah.
I even told the same thing to Pendleton's athletic director
Right.
last year. I'm like, why would you make LeGrand your homecoming?
Right,
Because
yeah.
we were their homecoming.
Right. And
I'm
beat
like,
them.
Yeah, and beat them. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's this year, that's going to be
Yeah.
a tall task for us. I mean, of course, I'm rooting for us, but I'm also realistic, especially when it comes to sports. And I've seen both teams play, and I've seen the teams that they both played. You know what I mean? And we don't match up really well.
Yeah.
We don't. And you know that game that we televised last week?
Yeah.
That was Pendleton's backup quarterback.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And they thumped them like that with their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
They got their starting quarterbacks back tomorrow.
Was he just out with
He's
injury?
just injured, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be back tomorrow. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those,
So who's Wyoming playing this weekend? You know? I mean, they're playing you and I are going to the BSU game the following.
Yeah, which is gonna be nationally televised.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I want to say, let's look real fast. Who is Wyoming playing? I want to say Colorado State. No, Colorado State's the third. They might have a bye week this week. They do. They're off this week.
Okay.
They lost to Air Force on last Saturday.
And it was close.
Yeah,
I mean, I
34
watched
to
that
27.
game. Yeah.
And then Air Force is ranked number 22 in the country. And then they have Boise State at 2:30 on the 28th, which is a weird time.
It is.
Yeah, it's a TV thing. I was hoping they were going to make it an evening game, because then I was going to drag you. We were going to leave early and we were going to go to the EOU game at College of Idaho first.
Oh, interesting.
We were going to have a double dip.
So what time is that game?
That game's at 1 Mountain Time, so 12 our time, right? Are we an hour?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So this game's at. Wait, no. Is are we an hour behind them, or are we?
We're an hour behind. Yeah.
So if it's 2:30 here, it's 3:30 there.
Correct.
So this game is at 1:30 our time, and the C of I EOU game is at 12 our time.
So not.
Well, I mean, we could go for the first half,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we want to be at this game no later than probably 1 o'clock. We want to be there at least an hour early,
Yeah.
hour and a half, because we have to go. We aren't going to have. In order to park, we have to go pick up the parking passes from the guy. I don't know how we're going to do it. Like, parking's going to be a nightmare, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
So
it's going to be fun.
And I stopped and I had my van serviced and stopped and talked to Arnie the other day and talked to him a little bit about that. I'm sure he'll be at that game.
He's even at the
He's
games
at every
that
game.
are.
Yeah.
He's at all of the games for sure.
Yeah.
He's one of those. Andrew had 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown against Air Force too.
It was close. It was a close
34-27.
game. Yeah.
Was the final.
Yeah.
What in the heck? Look, somebody wants to give us a loan
They do.
on the comments. Millicent Sarfawa. Millicent Sarfawa Express Loan. All right. What do you got? What's your interest rates here? Provides fast and easy short-term loans. Our customers can apply for a loan directly. Huh, interesting. It's starting to turn into football posts.
There we go.
BC, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You ready?
Okay.
They're kind of like
Would you rather?
would you rathers, but
Yeah.
we'll do a few would you rathers too.
Okay.
If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would you choose and why? Yeah. Probably some Chicago song.
No, it's funny because I heard that question the other day on social media, something, and I don't know. Yeah. I like this is going to be weird, but I really like the way that Back in Black starts. Dump, ba bump, ba bump, ba da ba da ba da ba da bump, dump bump, dump.
I that's a sports song.
Is it?
Well, I feel like it would be like a walk-up song for somebody.
Yeah, no, it is. And I don't, so it's like, no, I don't, that's just the song that came to my head. I don't know that that's the song that I would choose like that would match my personality, you know. But anyhow, just
I didn't.
So how
really
about
think
you?
of- I'm thinking. I don't know. I would probably say like some sort of hip hop song. 90s hip hop probably. I would imagine. I like how about Batter Up by Nelly? That would be a good one. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing it.
Yeah.
But it would be a good song. What do you think of garden gnomes?
It's a very personal attraction, I guess. I mean, you know, I would never have them in my garden, but on the same hand, I wouldn't judge somebody for having them in theirs. It's like, okay, they must like those. Yeah.
My aunt, I wouldn't have garden gnomes either, but my aunt that lives here,
Yeah.
she has everything from a belt tree. Okay, she has a tree with like a bunch of belts hanging in it.
Okay.
And then she has a shoe tree. And then all over her property, she has old bowling balls on sticks. It's weird. So I could see her having some garden
Is that
gnomes.
And is that why is
I
it
don't know. She's never been a bowler.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's just a hippie and likes,
likes that kind of stuff?
eccentric, like,
Yeah.
yeah. But she always has a beautiful garden, and her the whole yard, they live on a bunch of acres, but everything up around the house is always just immaculate.
So I wonder why the people that do have garden gnomes, why do they have them?
I don't know.
Just because it's like
I don't know.
It's kind of like those little statues of the little boy peeing. Have you seen
my grandpa had one?
Yeah.
In the yard.
Yeah.
But it was a fountain.
Right. Yeah.
It was like this round fountain, a little boy peeing into the.
Yeah, that pees into the water.
Grandpa had one.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little art piece or something. Who knows?
I don't think that very many people have those anymore though. I haven't seen one in a long time. and the crazy thing, my grandparents too, my grandma collected turtles, right?
Like real turtles? Oh, no,
turtles.
yeah, like
she had when she died, she had over 10,000 turtles.
Wow.
You think I'm kidding?
No.
There was like 4 or 5 shelves and 3 curio cabinets in the living room that were full of turtles. The mailbox was a turtle. My grandpa was the warden at Boron, and Boron, so before that he was at Lompoc. Lompoc was where they make the street signs for California.
Uh-huh.
And my grandpa had them make her a turtle crossing sign that hung in the garage. The little thing that hung down from the ceiling in the garage to stop her from hitting the wall was a turtle. Everything was a turtle. I mean, she had turtles that were worth thousands of dollars, all the way to a Zippo that was a turtle. I mean, BC, it was, yeah. That's why I have a turtle tattooed on my leg.
And part of that happens. So then once somebody knows that there's a collection,
of course, and my grandma never bought any turtles.
Then everybody in the world, oh, I got you another turtle.
Yeah, my grandma's mother never bought a turtle probably in her whole life. Grandpa was the one that
he bought the turtles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And now all of us have at least a few of grandma's turtles.
I was going to say, what would you do with that collection when you got done?
Well, a lot of them got sold at but everybody in the family had the opportunity to pick through which ones they were favorites. And grandma assigned us turtles before she died too.
Oh, did she?
She was like, that's yours because that reminded you. So she had this little stool that was a turtle.
Yeah. And
then she also had this little like gold turtle with a little boy riding on it. Not real gold, but it was like a little statue.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's yours. I got that. We got that thinking about you riding a turtle. Like, you know what I mean? So she pointed out which ones she wanted us to have. But everything else that was, of course they pulled out all the expensive ones, and then at the end it was just like, there's too many turtles. Let's just get rid of these things. My grandma, though, she was very picky too. Like she would only use Heinz ketchup. She would only eat Lay's potato chips. She would only eat her steak well done. She would only drink Sparkletts water. Like she was the most picky person in the world, but she was crafty. Like she I took care of her in her last few months. Like I took a leave of absence from work, went down there and helped my grandpa take care of her. We never put her in a home.
Yeah.
She had Alzheimer's. She was just, and about, I want to say like a month or two before she died. So they had light colored carpet in the house. And the bathroom was down the hall. So we just did baths, like in the living room pretty much. And, like grandma wouldn't, the one thing, I did everything, I helped her,
right.
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But she would not let me see her breasts. She wouldn't. I'm like, I wiped your butt. And she's like, I have to have a little bit of,
have to have something. Yeah.
So she had that one thing. And she, the crazy thing is like about a month before she died, she goes, come with me. And she gets on her walker and we walk around the house. There's like 7 or 8 different spots where she had anywhere from like $500 to $1,500 in cash hidden. There was over 10 grand when we were done. She goes, don't tell grandpa. I'm like, I have to tell him. Like, I can't.
Right.
We got, you know what I mean? And I was like, what were you doing? And she, every time. So she didn't ever spend, you know what I mean?
Right.
She wasn't, grandpa always had the cash or the card or whatever.
Yeah.
And she, every time she'd go to get her hair done, he'd give her a couple $100. Well, she'd get her hair done and then just put the
extra
away.
aside. Yeah.
And she had over 10 grand hidden in that house. And there were some in shoes, there was some in like backup purses, there was some in the jewelry box in the back. It was quite interesting.
I helped a family once go through all of their stuff, after they had passed, and the mom had like hidden money.
Yeah, that was
in
grand.
all kinds of. And this one particular woman, she had like under the soles in her old slippers that were nearly worn out, under the insoles, there was $8,000. There was $4,000 in each shoe, and so it was. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
My grandpa was like straight up old school. He would take so he always carried 2 wallets, one in the front pocket, one in the back pocket. And he always, no matter what, even when he was, even when he got Alzheimer's and was dying, he always had to have at least $800 in cash on him. Always. Old school. You know what I mean? Like that's how. And he always did. And he always had, both of his wallets always had a rubber band around them. And I asked him, like, one time I was like, why do you put rubber bands around your wallet? That's weird. And he said, it's not weird when you're in a foreign country and there's pickpockets. And he's like, in the military, we were taught to do that because try pulling that wallet out of my pocket with a rubber band around it.
That rubber,
it gets
stuck.
Creates
friction.
Yep. And so that's why he kept rubber bands wrapped around his wallet, was because if you try to pull that thing out, it gets hung up because of the rubber band. Yeah. That was a military thing.
That's funny.
What would you want your last meal to be? If you had to choose your last meal, what would it be?
I still love just a good steak. Just good steak and baked potatoes and
the people on death row, they go crazy. They can, you know what I mean? Like guys
order anything. Yeah,
I would order a whole bunch of stuff, like all different kinds of things. Like I'm going out with a bang. Like I'm hoping that gives me a heart attack right there. Let's go.
Yeah. So is there any? But what's your favorite thing? If you had to pick a favorite, what would it be?
I would probably get a steak too. Like a nice big ribeye. I like ribeye the best, probably. I feel like New York and fillets are too lean. Like I need a little bit of fat on there.
Yeah, the
good ribeye.
I like that little sliver
on the ribeye.
Yeah.
And
it's got a name. It's got a name. It's like the.
It's the best part.
Yeah,
it's that tender little like.
Yeah, and it's funny because Tanya at times go like, I don't want that part. That's fatty. It's like just
pass it on over.
Yeah,
like, you just that's like giving somebody gold in my house.
I know there's a particular. I can't remember the name of that particular piece, but there are. Heinz one time they would take those little chunks and put them into a roll and put a string around them, kind of like like they do.
It's the cap, or
cap?
a decal steak, or the spinalis dorsi.
Spinalis.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that. Yep. And that's
the best part.
That's the best part.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And if I'm eating prime rib, I want the end.
Me too.
I don't care if it's a little bit overdone. I want all that.
Yeah.
The seasoning and flavor, and
Yep.
it's so much better. And then what we'll do is like eat from the outsides in. Everything that's left is usually in the middle, and then you can throw it out on the grill the next day, or put it in a pan and fry it up, and make stroganoff, whatever. Like,
yep.
I'm a huge ribeye fan.
I do
prime
too.
Rib. That's my go-to.
Yep.
Would you rather have a mullet or a perm? I mean, you almost do have like a little. You got some curlies back there.
A mullet.
What kind of?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I could. Probably a mullet.
A mullet?
Probably a mullet. Yeah. I mean, and what's funny is mullets are coming back.
Oh,
I mean,
that's crazy.
I mean, when Tanya and I were in Seattle, there was a young kid. He was probably 14 or 15 years old, and he had a full-on mullet. It's like, really? Okay. How about you? Have you ever had a perm?
No.
I haven't either.
No. I have had a mullet, though, when I was younger. My mom always used to make us grow our hair out.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to Grandpa's, and Grandpa would cut it, crew cut, like flat top.
Yeah.
Buzz cut, military style. And then we'd go back to Mom's, and she'd make us grow it out.
So at first I was thinking, when you said mullet, I was thinking mohawk.
No, mullet.
Yeah. And
short on the sides and top.
Right. But it's funny,
the
the mohawk thing is pretty popular. And I used to think of a mohawk was like a thin strip right down the middle. And like Mahomes, the quarterback, I mean, that's what he calls his haircut.
Yeah, that's kind of like a faux hawk.
Yeah, because it's right. I mean, it's it's close shaven on the side and long on top. And
yeah,
I've been watching a show. They have Netflix has a series on quarterbacks.
Yeah, I watched it already.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I mean,
it's Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, and
Moriarty.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it all in one day.
Yeah. I think I've got through it. It is a little, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, I've enjoyed that. And just because you get the perspective, I don't know, you get that inside look. Yeah.
There's another good one. It's on Prime. It's called Kelsey. It's about the Kelsey brothers. The one
really?
That's dating Taylor Swift
Yeah.
now. But it basically follows their Travis, the older brother, or I mean Jason, the older brother, through his season when he ends up having to play his brother in the Super Bowl last year.
Oh, really?
They played each other.
Right, I do remember that. Yeah,
and it started out as a documentary that was documenting his last season because he was going to retire, but he ended up coming back.
Huh.
And now those two brothers have one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
I know. I saw a clip of it the other day, and Jason is asking the younger one's first name? Travis.
Jason and Travis.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think of now that people know who you are? Because
that he in the week that they made it official that she showed up at the game, he gained over 3 million followers on Instagram. He had less than 1 million when it started, and he has over 4 million now. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like
that is.
Yeah.
I tell you, the Taylor Swift thing is just. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean,
I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not
like anti Taylor Swift.
I'm the same way. I mean, she's still kind of. I mean, I really like whether she's that way or not. I really like her genuineness. I mean, she's just.
I think that's why she has so many fans.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, got to be right.
So I can understand, but the genuineness, the cuteness, it doesn't totally match up with this stage diva that I mean, I can't put those two together.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people say that Travis is too good for her.
Well, I mean,
well, she's had issues with
right,
boys.
right, and I'm sure you've seen some of the songs that people are writing about their future breakup. Yeah.
Well, because that's what she does.
Right.
She writes
Yeah.
songs about dudes after she breaks up with them, and everybody wants to protect Travis because he's a treasure. I mean, him and his brother are like the face of the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Like, really. I mean, they're about as popular as anybody. His brother, after that Kelsey, that documentary came out on Prime, his brother's jersey is like one of the top jerseys sold, and Travis's already was.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody buys offensive lineman jerseys except for Jason Kelsey. He's a center.
So what's their story? I mean, they
went to college together. Travis got kicked out of college for failing a drug test, got kicked off the football team, Cincinnati. They both played at University of Cincinnati. Jason begged the coach to let his brother back on. They let him back on. He got drafted. Jason got drafted a couple years before Travis, and then Travis got drafted. And basically, Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, called Jason first and said, "Look, am I going to be all right drafting your brother? Is he going to screw this up?" And Jason vouched for him, who was already in the NFL.
Right.
And then when he drafted Travis, he called him and said, "Hey, don't mess this up."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because he had already failed a drug test. He
Right.
had some issues, and he hasn't. I mean, he's arguably the best tight end ever. I mean, honestly, his numbers are right there with all the best tight ends ever. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's a good story.
It is. And the older brother, Jason, he's a offensive lineman.
Center. Yeah, he's a center.
The center.
Yeah.
For who? Buffalo?
No, for Philadelphia.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And Travis wears number 87, and he didn't know this until the podcast.
Yeah.
They asked him why he wore 87, and he wears 87 because that's the year Jason was born, and Jason's his big brother's his hero.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how many years difference is there between them?
I think like 3 or 4. They're really close. I mean, I think Travis was a freshman, I think, when Jason was a junior.
So I wonder if, I wonder if they were younger. I mean, are they the same size? I mean, clearly the offensive lineman
Travis
is put on
bigger.
Right, I know, but
tight end.
Right, but before those guys put on a ton of weight.
I've never seen Jason before.
You see what I mean? So I wonder if before they bulked up, one to be an end, which needs to be more lean, and the other one to be a lineman, which needs to be more bulky.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're similar in body shape.
Travis is way taller.
Is he?
Yeah, the tight end. He's like 2 or 3 inches taller.
Oh, really?
And I would say they're probably within about 30 pounds of each other. I'll bet you Jason runs like about 270, and I'll bet you Travis. Let's look it up.
Interesting.
Let's see. Travis Kelsey weight. Travis weighs 250. Jason weighs 282. So I said 30 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not that big of a difference in their weight, but Travis is a lot taller.
But 250
I guess he's not a lot taller. Jason's 6'3".
Okay.
6'3", 282 is not that. I mean, he's not like fat.
No, but can you imagine an end 250, 6'2"?
He's taller than that.
Is he?
Yeah, he might be like 6'5". Let's look. Height. Travis Kelsey is 6'5". So he's 2 inches taller than his brother.
Interesting.
And he's 30 pounds lighter.
Wow.
But, they're close. Taylor Swift's 5'11". Did you know that? She's tall.
I didn't know that
She's
she was tall.
6 foot.
Yeah.
So she doesn't look like a shrimp next to him, at least.
Yeah. No. What an interesting story.
Oh, it's so fun to follow them.
Yeah.
Their podcast is phenomenal.
And State Farm is doing commercials with. I know they've been. The mom is part of the scene too. Especially since they played
in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And so then it's
they've had their parents on the podcast. They've had Jason's wife on the podcast.
Really?
They've had both of their quarterbacks, Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
Huh.
They've had all kinds. I mean, it's a great podcast, and they talk about funny stuff, and like they do it during the season.
Yeah,
which is cool because
so then they're talking about
get an
current
inside
stuff.
look at their they talk about what happened at that game. Jason talks about her now quite often. Travis doesn't ever bring it up, but Jason is always he's like, oh, you're actually popular now.
I know.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's funny stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun one to watch. I think it's called New Heights. If anybody's interested in,
I'll have to check that out. Occasionally, I just like to listen to podcasts.
Yeah, it's called New Heights Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on a bunch of different platforms. Jason and Travis Kelce. I want to see like what their podcasts. Let's look and see like how many views they're getting.
Yeah,
let me check that out real quick.
Well, and I wonder how long have they been doing that? Has it been something they've been doing for a while?
No, I think this is year 2, maybe. So the podcast that came out yesterday, one day ago, has 909,000 views.
Almost 1 million.
Yeah, in a day.
Yeah.
They have 1.34 million subscribers. Okay, so here's a better look. The one with his wife, with Jason's wife, has 3.5 million views. That's a lot.
Is that on Spotify or is that on?
That's on YouTube.
YouTube. Wow.
Yeah, that's just YouTube views.
Yeah.
3.5 million.
It sounds like lot. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are doing like what we do. They do it in video and then it flows to audio only platforms.
Yeah,
also.
They put it out on everything and anything they can.
Yeah.
And then they make reels, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, and you'll see the reels, and it'll be a little highlight of their podcast. That's how I found it. I was just thumbing through TikTok or Instagram, and I didn't even know these guys had a podcast. Go check it out, and now I don't miss it. I'll wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
It's probably right now my favorite podcast. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good stuff.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well,
let's get going.
Okay.
On this day, 1781. What is today? The 19th of October. British forces under General Charles Cornwallis signed terms of surrender to George Washington at Yorktown at 2 p.m., ending the U.S. Revolutionary War. On this day in 1781. On this day in 1919, the first U.S. Distinguished Service Medal is awarded to a living female recipient, Anna Howard Shaw. She's the first living female to be awarded the U.S. Distinguished Service Medal. And then we'll jump all the way to 2005. On this day, the trial for Saddam Hussein started in Baghdad for crimes against humanity. So 18 years ago today was the start of the Saddam. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember they showed when they executed him, they showed it like this grimy, like weird thing, and they hung it. Like it was really weird.
Yeah, it was.
That was really weird. I couldn't believe they showed that either on TV. Like, I mean, that was weird. 2014 on this day, a working human intestine is generated in a laboratory from stem cells in the USA. 2014, 9 years ago.
A what?
They made an intestine.
In
a laboratory. Yep.
Okay.
A human intestine.
Wow.
From stem cells. I'm pretty sure they can make a human, BC. They can clone.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Well, it's probably within, it's not legal.
No.
But that somebody's.
It's not ethical either.
Right.
I'm sure somebody's done it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, there's got to be. I mean, all this stuff that they've done.
That's what movies are made of, man.
2015 on this day, scientists from University of California find evidence that life on Earth may have begun 4.1 billion years ago, which is 300 million years earlier than they first suspected.
Huh.
So we have to go back even 300 million years further based on what they found. Who knows when it comes to that stuff?
I know. All that kind of information is like, I don't know. I mean, it's like.
Number one movie on this day in 2003 was the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Have you seen any of those?
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've seen. It creeps me out. I'm not a fan of them.
No, I'm not either. I'm not.
Me out, man. They're making chili out of people and feeding it to people. That's weird.
Yeah. It's kind of like those. What was the name of that series of movies where people would be trapped? They would be in a situation, and then they're like, yeah.
That the very first Saw is one of the scariest movies ever.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah.
Where at the end he's in the room with them. He's one of the dead bodies.
Yeah. See, I haven't. But the whole thing is so disturbing. It's not entertaining for me.
There's a lot of movies that are super disturbing. The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Really disturbing. There's this movie called 8mm. I think it's got who's it got in it? But it's about it's a horror movie. Who's it got in it? Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
And it's a horror movie, but it's about snuff porn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't watch scary movies anymore.
Well, and the movies that are really the most disturbing for me, where it's like it's a movie and that's whole made up, but there is a real element that really does happen.
Yeah. The stuff that's like completely fake, like Friday the 13th or Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
That doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah.
The stuff that could be real,
yeah,
like Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs or The Hills Have Eyes, those are the ones that scare me.
Yeah, they just stick to me, stick with you. Yeah.
I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Quote of the day. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. William Faulkner. One more time. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore.
All right.
That's it on a Thursday. Have a nice weekend. Tomorrow, we'll start the stream about 6:30. LeGrand versus Pendleton with homecoming and a special guest from EOU at halftime.
Yep. And don't forget, we're going to watch for the post giving away a couple of tickets to the Haunted Warehouse. And then also the Eastern Oregon Film Festival starts tonight. So thanks, guys, for being here with us.
See you next Tuesday.
Yep. See you soon.